Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we're back on the world's fastest golf cart. This is episode 6. Let's go. Alright, so we're back on the golf cart project. We pushed her aside for a little bit, had to build a simulator for our buddy Stoico there, and then also we swapped out that grenaded Ninja motor out of the Piranha, dropped in the Yamaha fuel injected one, so that's up and going, perfect. So now we gotta keep going on this one. I've already kind of set up the live axle there. I was originally going to use a 48 tooth. I wanted a big sprocket on this guy. I get lots of bottom end, but the chain I had wouldn't fit. It was too short, so I dropped her down to a 42. She works perfect, tickety-boo. Had to make my own keyways and everything on the hub sprockets, or the hub collars for the sprockets and the flanges, only because we went to our favorite store there, Princess Auto. That's where we get all the sprockets and collars and hubs and all that stuff, the 1-inch shaft, all that stuff. You know, they're pretty good. It's a wonderful store for building projects like this because you can pick up all this stuff, but the only problem is when you use the 1-inch stuff, they never have any of it in stock. All they have is usually the ones with the smaller holes, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 7/8. So to get around that, I picked up this nice little kit off of, I think it was Amazon. It goes all the way from 9/16 to 1 inch. Works out good. You can take those smaller collars, drill them out to the 1 inch, and then also picked up this sweet little kit offline, broaching kit. So once you drill her out to the 1 inch, you just grab your collet that you need, slide her in there, then you take, we'd be running the 1/4 inch keyways in it, then you just drop that fella in there. Now I'm sure you're supposed to use a shop press and push that through nice, but I don't own one, so I use the old swing press. Smash that sucker down through there. You run her through once, then you drop one of these shims in the back side of her, run her through again, then it cuts a nice perfect keyway. Take one of the keyways you got from Napa, drop her in, tickety-boo, and then I just mock it all up on the 1-inch shaft, make sure it's true, give her a couple of tack welds, off to the races. So I did that on these guys here, and then now I got to figure out the header is coming off on the side, so I can slide this stuff. That shaft's keyed the whole way, so I got the sprocket lined up nice. So just slid the brake rotor off to the side so I can rig the exhaust out here. I'll make a mount. I'm going to put 2 calipers on this guy. I think I'm going to take, we got a donor street bike there. It's got the same calipers. It's got the twin calipers on the front wheel. So I'll mount one on the front side, one on the back side. One will be linked to the pedal, working with the front ones. The other one will be linked to a nice little handbrake there beside the shifter, so you can do some nice stoppies. I built that exhaust pipe for JP's Apex when we put the turbo on it, but that thing blew up, and I don't mean it went viral. It literally blew up, so we don't need that exhaust on there anymore. So I'm going to cut that up. I've got it rigged so I can slip those 2 mufflers on that Y pipe. I'll try and fit it on there, and then we can have the 2 street bike mufflers hanging out the back. She'll look sweet, sound sweet, nice one. So I think for this episode, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll fart around, get the exhaust kind of mocked up on there, and then try and mock up the rear brake. Maybe we'll even get a shifter hooked up. I don't know. Let's see what happens. that is the exhaust kind of complete. Now, it's not the best looking pipe in the world, but hey, it'll work. So I just took a regular piece of 2 1/4 or 2 1/2, I forget what size that is. It slipped nice and perfect over top of that original header. I just had to expand it with my pipe expander just a little bit. And then I put a little pie cut in it and bent this end over just because it's how it worked out for me. I expanded the crap out of this end and then flared that out. I heated up a couple of pieces, so the flow is pretty good. It's still going through, and then I utilized these Yoshi pipes there. So this way we've got dual exhaust coming out the back of that cart. She's gonna sound sweet. Now it's gonna look good too. They're sticking out a little bit further than I wanted, but I mean, hey, you got to do with what you got. So that's what I had. We're just clearing the brake rotor there. That spring is awfully close, but we got some clearance. We got good clearance there. So I would say check, exhaust is done. So now we can see about getting some calipers on that rotor. And then the next project after that's going to be figuring out the throttle bodies. I don't want to run, I got the original airbox there, but that thing's a monster, so I want to take just the throttle bodies, just use them and build my own airbox, because if I put that on there, it's going to sit way too high. Like it comes way up here, so I don't want that. I want the seat nice and low. And also it runs, you got the 4 injectors in the stock throttle bodies, and then there's 4 injectors up on the top. So what I want to do is, JP had, where are they? These are the stock injectors out of an Apex. They're just under 500 cc, I think, or CFM. The stock ones in there, they're only 200 and something each. So I think the 4 in the throttle bodies plus the 4 in there equal about the same as those. So I'm going to ditch the 4 out of that. I'm just going to use the 4 Apex ones. Hopefully they fit in those throttle bodies. We're going to find out. And then I'll make an airbox, nice low profile, or maybe one that comes out into the back. That way I can keep the seat nice and low, so she looks like a golf cart. So we'll carry on one thing at a time, and maybe we'll try and figure out a simple bracket for the calipers next. Well, now that the exhaust is all figured out, we can move on to the next step, get some rear brakes happening on this sucker. And for that, we're going to be using our donor bike. That's right, Mr. Hyabusa. So we picked that one up off a marketplace. It was a pretty good deal. It was wrecked. This side looks good, the other side not as good. So that's the reason why we got it so cheap. But we're going to be using that for donor for this. We'll use the calipers. I'm thinking the front calipers off of that would be perfect for rigging up on the back of this golf cart. And then the motor from that we'll use in something else. So I got a pretty smart idea what we can do with that. So let's get the calipers off of it first anyway. So like I said, we did pick up the Hyabusa off a marketplace there. We got a good deal on it. This side, like I said, looks pretty good, but over here she was dumped and ran down on its side on the road. So the frame's a little bit buggered up, and so was the side cover on the engine there. But we have had it running. It does run good, all that. You know, it does leak a little bit of oil. We will be using this power plant for another project down the road. We'll let you know what's going on there later. But right now, I am more interested in these front calipers. Now, I like these calipers. First of all, they just bolt straight down. It's a fixed caliper, so I can make a mount on the golf cart there. Just bolt it down, center it up. It'll be good that way. Could possibly use the 2 of them, you know, do one on the back side, one on the front side on the rotor I got. And also, if I need to order brake pads for this, I know what these calipers came off of. So that's kind of the plan. So I'm going to strip that stuff off. We'll use as many pieces off of this bike as we can for now, and then yeah, when it comes time to ripping out the heart of that unit, put it in another project, we'll do that later. Now that we have the two calipers off the Hyabusa there, that's the idea what I want to do. Have one mounted on the front side, one a little bit up higher mounted there. So these ones are kind of nice because they just have the two bolt holes to mount. So I think all I'm going to do is come up with a heavy duty bracket that'll come from that engine mount, come up, it'll come across the top, go back down. I can pick up off this back support here, and then I should be able to just clamp the brakes onto the rotor, weld that bracket in place, put my through bolts in, bolt that down, and I will have rear brakes. So let's make that happen. Alrighty, so that's the setup I got. Now it's just kind of mocked up and tacked in there for now, but I got the twin calipers on there. I will have to fully weld it, and then I'm probably gonna put a gusset across those two plates there just to stop it from kind of twisting or buckling. I've got it removable. I got a bolt there and a bolt over there, 1/2-inch bolts, so it should be grade 8, nice and strong. That way I can remove that whole assembly and I can pull the exhaust off or whatever, but I think it'll work out good. I can have that back one hooked up in tandem with the front brake, so you get the full braking force of the pedal, and then that front one there I can rig up to a handbrake, so you get your Ken Block drifting stick. Nice one. So I think that's pretty good. It gives us a place to start from. Exhaust is done. And the rear brakes are kind of done-ish. Just got to hook up the hydraulic lines to the pedals and get a handbrake going. But yeah, I like it. All right, well, thanks for tuning in to this episode. You know, been off this project for a little bit. It feels good to get back on it, and we made a little bit of progress. We got an exhaust working, and we got brakes, you know. Got to get the brakes hooked up to the pedal at the front, but at least now she rolls and she stops. So that's a good thing. Little bit of confidence, you know, once we get rolling on this thing, and we know we're going to be going pretty quick. It's good to know that we can stop. So as always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please do so. You know, we're hoping to grow this channel. We enjoy doing this, and leave a comment and hit the like button. Take her easy.